Okay, we've got the BYD up next, instruction video. To pop the bonnet, you have to pull on the bonnet release twice. We'll start by removing the top cowl, then we'll get onto the flares. There's a couple of clips behind here. We'll have to remove pretty much the lower part of the flare and the top flare so we can pull the bumper away. There is also a number of clips underneath that we'll start pulling away. I'll show in a bit more detail as we get to it, but I'll start with that and we'll update you. So we'll remove these panels. They've just got press clips. You start by prying up one side, and if you just work your way across, they'll start to pop up. And then once you've popped up this side here, basically, then we'll start prying away the other side there. You can use a trim tool, but they should just pop up. Working our way around with the trim tool. Clips are super brittle, so just gotta be careful with them. Okay, so we'll remove the top cowl cover, then we'll go through, remove these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 M10s. And after we've done that, we'll go through and start on the side guards and how to remove those clips. Continue on with removing the bumper. 2 10 mils, Phillips head here, and we start prying out these, which will expose some more. There's 3 here, and then we'll do the same on the other side. And then we'll start pulling away the flare, which will expose more screws here. And I'll show you that in a sec. Pulled away the flare. There are many Phillips head screws. You can pull the flare away more if you want. That's enough for us. We've undone everything. Behind here on the passenger side, there'll be the harness. It's a bit hard to see. We'll disconnect that, so like a lever style clip. And you literally start pulling it away gently. You might need a second person to pull from the center grill here because it's very tight. So you just start pulling away, and then we'll disconnect the harness and then work our way across, unclipping it all. So we've got the front bumper off, got it over here. We'll come back to that later. We'll unclip all that and I'll walk you through that. But for now, we'll undo this bracket here, unpick, and then re-secure that to the cross member there with a cable tile too. We'll then start unpicking these air dams here, and then expose the bumper bracket here. We'll remove that, couple bolts behind there. Then I'll come across here and we'll unpick the harness because we want to remove this whole black section here. Basically, there's a number of clips, and then this whole black section pulls away from it. I'll show you that in a minute. Remove the bracket there. We'll cable tie that later. Remove the air dam, which exposes the 17mm bolts there, and then we've got a number of 10mm bolts in this plastic thing. Okay, so we've undone the retaining plate there. We'll secure that horn cable there. Then when you come across to this side guard, there's a number of 10mm bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one at the back there, and then that should pretty much remove. You can see we might have to get an extension, long extension socket, make it a lot easier. And then we start removing the actual cross brace here, and then we will start preparing our cradle. There are also recovery points underneath the factory ones. We'll get to those in the next bit. So we've got the cross member off, the Loctite in, so you might have to use breaker bar. Bit difficult to get off because it's so tight, you just have to wiggle it off. Now we're going to start by unprying the actual sensor clips here away from, and we'll do the other one as well, and then all the 10mm on this side to remove this piece as well. And then we will start putting on our chassis. So we're about to put our recovery points on. We do need to remove just 2 10 mils, and then we'll remove that so we can fit our recovery point. I've already done the other side. Okay, so I've got the cradle on. Before we can fit the recovery point, you will have to undo the factory toe points. They're swimming in Loctite or whatever, so you have to use a breaker bar to get it off. Once they're off, then we can go and fit our recovery point. So we've bolted on our recovery points, nice and tight there. 16mm recovery points, beveled edge, cradled in. Now we'll start working on the factory bumper. We'll just mark the orientation over everything here, and then we'll start unpicking it all. Then we'll unpick this harness off the grill for now, just to lay it in the bar completely. And at the end, we'll try to screw it back to it. It's a good idea to mark the orientation of the parking sensors before you do any of that, and take a photo of it so you remember which way it goes back into the new bar. And then we'll start putting it in to the new bar there. We've got the securing points. We've got our lights pre-done, but we'll connect it all up to the harness, and then we'll show an update. So when setting up the side radars, lane assist or changing lane modules, basically you feed the cable through first and then plug it back in, obviously after you've bolted it to the new bracket, and then you would bolt it up there. And then we'll do the same thing for the radar in the middle, the camera as well. Obviously that's, we're going that way. We'll bolt it in and then bolt it through, and then the same for this side here. And then we'll get on to wiring our LED bar and our 30-watt LEDs. Okay, I'll just walk you through what we've done. I may have skipped some of it in the previous slide or video. Basically, we put our sensors in. When you put them in, you just pop this plastic out in the middle here and just give it a little file. If you don't have 4 sensors, you can just choose to use the existing grommet it comes with, or you can actually glue these in. They come with a 3M adhesive promoter, so you apply it to there, clean the areas, and you just got to make sure that you put it on the right angle so the sensor can also be secured at the back there. So secured with a clip and then 2 screws. Got our 3D cover for the lane departure, left and right, so when you take them out, make sure you mark it. We've trimmed our flare to suit. We've got about a 15mm gap there. The measurements will be available in the PDF instructions, and later on we will mark and cut our guard. Right now we're just aligning it. Got our gaps here, got a good 10-15mm gap here. Oh, it's really about 10 even on both sides. Then we got these specialized brackets, which look like this, which you put in from the front here, and then you can bolt it from the other side. Just makes it a lot easier when tightening the bar. Basically relocated our camera as well. Obviously if you're not running any spotlights, or there's nothing in the way, you can choose to keep it there. We've plugged everything back in, checked our harnesses, harness plugged in the side there, cable tied up. And now we'll just go to finish it off by doing the 3rd bash plates and the middle bash plates. Got our 3rd wing under bash plate in here. Let's put the bolts in nice and loose to line it up. And then once they're all in and the thread is started, then you can go tightening them up. They're millimeter perfect. So if you start tightening one and the other ones aren't in, you might find it difficult at the end. So put them all in. With the front bash plate here, we've got 3 13mm factories bolts. Basically just loosen them all the way down without falling out, and that way you can just slide your bash plate in and then line up your final 3 holes, which I'm about to do in a minute. So all our Recon bars come with option for a 31.5 inch steady lead bar, and standard with the 2 times 30 watt each side. The inside one goes on your fog light circuit, the outside one lead bar going to wiring harness that we supply. Full wiring harness. This is just a BYD Shark. Obviously pick it up off the 125 amp fuse, but obviously you check with your local Sparky how you want to do it. Earth point, the harness is also fused, so we're just literally using that as a pickup point. Then we will run once after we mount our relay and not tidy it up, we'll run it through the cab here, and then we will mount the switch. There's also, we bought the high beam takeoff adapter from Steady as well, so we'll just plug that in and it'll be good to go. So we've got our wire harness here, jump it off, 125 amp fuse there in the ground here, hitting the rest of the wire harness and bolting it to this little space here, nice little space. Then we will punch through the firewall and pull the cable through. With this harness, unfortunately, you'll have to disconnect the wires, strip back the plastic, and then push it through and then resolder it together. So we pulled our cable through the firewall. We drop down the plate here with the lights, 3 screws and a little clip. We've used, just a small, this is actually just off a balloon, but you have to find whatever. You push it through the back there to pull the switch through, and then after that pretty much just pull it through, mount it, and then put the panel back, and that's it. Done and dusted with the SLX Recon to BYD Shark. Nice and low profile, good clearances, underwing bash plate, 16mm recovery points, steady lead bar, 31.5 inch, flip up number plate bracket, plenty of airflow to the intercoolers, this one still has. Bash plate underneath, side bash plates, you can relocate the front camera. These are actually removable to access the winch, clap sleeve if you want. Got our radars relocated, park sensors, fog lights, optional, the indicator. SLX Recon Bullbar.